Okay, so a quick little note on subtracting vectors. Here the question says simply find vector A minus vector B. So here's my vector A, here's my vector B, using the same examples from before. You want to recognize that what subtraction means, if we think back to sort of the olden days, if we think about something like 5 minus 3, it's essentially the same, or not even essentially, but it's exactly the same as 5 plus negative 3. So here, subtracting the number positive 3 is the same as adding the opposite value. The same is true for vectors. If I want to take this initial A vector and subtract this vector B, I can simply, because the concept of subtracting the vectors doesn't make a lot of sense, I can add the opposite vector. And opposite vectors are just the original vector in the opposite direction. So same size exactly, opposite direction. Just like negative 3 is the opposite of positive 3, exact same size, but opposite direction. One's above 0 by a certain amount, the other's below 0 by the same amount. So if we're looking to subtract A minus B, we simply take the negative of B and we then change it to an addition question. So the opposite to B is the one that's now on the screen, and we would add them the same way we would of anything else. So really what I'm doing now is the question A plus negative B. And just a quick note to say it does make a big difference here if you're subtracting the A minus B versus the opposite, or the B minus A. And again, if you liken it to a simple math example, you have to ask yourself, are these two things going to give me the exact same answers? And of course they're not. In fact, they're going to give me opposite answers. So the same is going to be true here. If I did subtract these in the wrong order, if I try, see if I can get this to, if I try flipping A around, but keeping B as it had been originally, when I put these head to tail, either here or here, I think you can see that what I'm going to end up with is not exactly the same vector. It looks pretty similar, except of course this one's drawn from the head of B to the tail of the black one. What I actually need to do with it is draw it from the tail of the black one to the head of the blue. Essentially what we've got here is a path, right? We go down this path and back up this one, or we could follow the red path and be in exactly the same spot. Starting back here, all the way to the end here, and then starting here all the way to the end here, or just the red path being the same. And you can clearly see that that is not the exact same vector as this, and as was the case with the simple math addition up here, the simple subtractions up here, it's actually going to be that we get the opposite answer in the second case. Okay, so really straightforward. If you have to do a subtraction with two vectors, you're going to flip the second one and add them together.